Alrighty, welcome to tutorial 5. So here we should be all done with our bulk ferment or bulk rise. And we are going to get into the fun now of playing with our dough, pre-shaping and getting it ready. So you'll see here now I've got the tools that I'm going to need, which right now we've got just a plain bowl. You don't need anything special. And then a loaf pan. So just different vessels, set those aside for now. A little bit of flour that I'm going to need for dusting my surface, our bench knife or dough scraper, and a couple kitchen towels or a couple of tea towels. Again, I have 2 because I'm doing 2 loaves, but for you, you only need 1. So let's go ahead and see how our dough looks. And it's looking pretty darn good here. So what we can see here is it's continuing to ferment. It's definitely done. If anything, I probably let it go a little bit too long. It's because I got a little carried away doing some other work, so we'll see, but it'll still be delicious. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be dumping this out on the surface. What I have to do is I have to cut it in half. You will not need to do that, so you can ignore that part. But here we go. So I'm going to show you that. We need to get a little bit of flour here. All right, and again, I got this big cutting board. You don't need a big cutting board. You can just do this directly on your counter, as long as it's clean. Just a little bit. You don't need a lot, just a little bit of flour just to make your life a whole lot easier. So this part is not difficult, but dumping it out, it's gonna be sticky. It's gonna be fine. So you're gonna kind of just put it on its side here and just gently kind of coax it out of the bowl and let it go right there on top of your work surface. So sometimes I have a little scraper that I'll use to get all this dough out so it doesn't stick so much, but it's fine. It's no big deal. No big deal. It's all gonna taste delicious at the end. Okay, put that in the sink. All right, so now this is our dough here on the counter. We're gonna get ready to work with it. So I'm gonna take just a little bit more flour. Again, because I have to cut this in half. I'm gonna show it to you, but you don't need to worry about it. So I'll try to make it as fast as possible. All right. So you're gonna take your dough knife. You're just gonna take that in there. So it's approximate. So I'm just gonna leave that one right over there. It's totally fine. So I'm gonna work on this one on the left. So when it comes out of the bowl, this is the one on the left, or on the right too. It's probably approximately about what yours will look like. So this is called our pre-shape right here. So we're just getting the dough into the general shape that we want it to be in. This part can be very tricky, especially if you've never used a bench knife or a dough knife before, but you're gonna use the palm of your hand right here, and you're gonna use this blade to kind of gently roll it into a shape. So I'm gonna just show it to you at first, and then after I kind of show slowly what I'm doing, I'll explain kind of how it works. Okay, so I just did a couple. I'm sorry, my camera just fell there. So hopefully, if you didn't get to see that, I'll show it over here again on this one real quick. So I'm just gonna show it to you, and then I'll explain what I did and how I'll continue to do it. All right, so I'm gonna leave this one over here. Just ignore that for now. I'm gonna work on this one over here. So what I was doing is remembering that this is now going to be the top of our dough forever until we bake it, all the way through baking. This is gonna be the top of the very dough. So you wanna keep that kind of in mind. So you're gonna take your bench knife. If you're right-handed like me, you're gonna put it flat on the surface, and you're gonna go underneath it, and you're gonna kind of make this crescent sweeping motion, and then you're going to pull it back. So it's going to feel like the bottom of the dough is rolling up and into itself, which is what it's doing. So you're just gently kind of rolling it into a ball and continuing to do it. So this hand right here is not grabbing, it's not doing anything. It's just acting as almost as if I've got 2 bench knives that I'm working with here. So you can see it's kind of coming together. It's turning into this nice tight little ball, which is wonderful. This is exactly what we want. If you have enough flour, this will work out really nicely for you. If you have too much, it'll just slide around on the work surface. It won't actually grab and turn into a ball. So if you have too much flour, you can just kind of move it around, kind of keep working with it till it lightly sticks. If it sticks too much, add a little bit too much flour, or sorry, add a little bit more flour to it. Don't really have any more way of explaining that to you other than you got to kind of just try it and see where you land here. I'm going to move this just away from the edge here a little bit. I don't want to fall off, but our shape is holding pretty nicely. So I think our ferment went pretty well. Like I said, I'm just giving it a little more shaping here. It's a nice little ball there, a little bouncy ball. Perfect. Sorry guys, my camera is falling. My little apparatus is continuing to fail me right now. So hopefully I can do it. I'm going to show it again to you with this one right here. Again, this one doesn't have as much flour, but that's okay. So you can see as I'm doing this, the top of the dough continues to stay the top of the dough. It doesn't actually roll. It doesn't actually roll the dough. The top of it stays as the top. And as I tighten the ball, everything stretches up into itself underneath the bottom there. So, okay, I'm just kind of scoot this next to this other one. All right, and this is going to lead us into our bench rest. So what a bench rest does is, because we rolled these into these little balls, there's a whole lot of seams inside and underneath this dough ball, and we need it to relax. We need the dough to relax, and we need it to incorporate those seams, fuse together, for lack of a better term. If you see these little air bubbles, you just poke those. Those will get a little too crispy in the oven. Again, you don't need to do it, but that's just what I'm doing, but feel free. But don't poke into your dough itself. All right, so that is our pre-shape. So this is what these should look like right now. I'm going to now take just a tiny bit of flour, just a little bit, and just going to pinch it. So I'm kind of just using my little pinch finger. And there's a little bit right on there on top there. Not a lot, just a little bit. I'm going to take one of my towels here, and I'm going to cover those, and I'm going to let that bench rest now for about another 20-30 minutes. All right, see you in a bit.